So hi, welcome to All Things Possible TV, and welcome to this video. Today we are talking about, and the title of the video is Intuitive Energy Healing with Emotion Code and Body Code. And a little bit different flavor today. We want to talk to you about what the intuitive healing is, what aspect, how that fits into, and how healing can be so much more beneficial when we're going in intuitively and finding out exactly what the body wants to be healed. And I've got my beautiful assistant, my bride here.
Yeah, so I'm Kris Barney, and this is Bill Barney. He kind of forgot that piece.
No, I didn't. I actually knew who I was the whole time. There are days when I struggle with that.
Yes,
but no,
I'm the guinea pig, and this is the healer. We're going to have some fun, so stick with us and have some fun with us and watch what we find out with my shoulder and some different things with intuitive energy healing through body code and emotion code.
Yeah, we're going to find out what Kris's junk is.
Yeah, yep.
So, stick to the end of this video. At the end of this, we're going to offer you a way to get a free 20-minute healing session with me and tell you how to do that. So everyone who does that is qualifies for that. So that's a gift and an offer we'd like to make you. So that'll be at the end of the video. Stick with us. It's going to be fun. We work together. We're not both energy healers, although we're both very intuitive.
Yeah. True.
I am the energy healer, and Kris, tell them what you do. And they call us the dynamic duo, and that's Kris is going to tell you why.
I do more of the speaking, mentoring, and training part. So more of the time management, the life balance, the accountability part to where you can really move your life forward. And Bill does the healing from the inside out, the actual healing of the emotional baggage that you have, the trauma, the different, whether it's addictions or whatever your problems are, he can work through all of those. He's certified and trained in 18 different modalities and proficient in those, and it's amazing to actually work with him. And so it's going to be fun for you to be able to see him actually do a demonstration with me as the guinea pig today and watch how some of that works.
Right, and you can look at some of our other videos and see some of the titles of the different kinds of things we work with. Today we're going to be working with a pain or a soreness issue in her shoulder, but it could be something that's emotional, grief, addictions, as we talked about, recovering from abuse. It can be just about anything that we struggle with, depression, anxiety. Anyway, but this is just, they all have underlying causes, and that's what we're going to talk about. Let me tell you a little bit about me with being an energy healer. I first got started in this back in the 70s, 40 years ago. That's starting to tell on me a little bit.
That says you're old.
But my dear sweet angel mother had a nickname in our family. We called her our witch doctor mom, because she was into this weird stuff, right? Back in the 70s, chiropractors were weird back then. Long before even that was accepted, let alone some of these other things. And I remember that through the 70s, and I was very interested in the things that my mother was studying. She came home with, she taught me 3 different things that I specifically remember. One of them was she came home with foot reflexology. She had these little maps and would show us different places to rub on the foot, and also learn different places on the hand and in the ears, different reflexology points throughout the body.
That's a lot like foot zoning now.
Yes, it's
a lot like foot zoning.
It's a distant cousin, or it's a cousin to foot zoning. But back in the 70s, I started doing this, and I've always been good at doing that and find the reflexology points. You got a headache, you got something sore, something going on. Very, very effective. Another thing that she taught me was, she didn't know what it was called at the time. She just learned it at one of the classes that she went to. But basically, today you would refer to it as pranic healing. But she said, if you ever sprain your ankle, pretend this is my foot, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's your foot.
If you ever sprain your ankle, just go ahead and brush like this. Brush, brush, brush. Away from the body. Brush for about 20 minutes, just real lightly. Just brush, 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 brush. And it will go from a sprained ankle to one that's just sore for a few days. And because of my activities, I had the opportunity to put that to use a couple times, and it was amazing that it worked. What I learned later that I was literally doing is moving the energy, and I found a little bit better ways to do that, but that was a very effective way. Another thing that she came up with is she came home with these 4 long tubes. They look like your big Christmas paper wrapping tubes, only they was about 5 feet long, and they came together like a 4-sided pyramid. There's 4 tubes that came together, and you're supposed to sit inside of that. It would make you really smart, and I'm here to tell you it does not work. Because I sat inside of that, and it maybe I did it wrong. But anyway.
But that's the one of them that you don't use now.
No, I don't have anyone sit inside of pyramid tubes.
No, I don't sit that. Nope.
Yeah, that only stuck around the house for a couple of weeks or a month or so. I was like, that's no good. It's better for kindling or firewood. So, anyway, let's get right down to business. But what I want to talk to you about is when we have a health issue, people will say you can read some books that say if you have low back problems, it's because you're carrying the weight of the world on your on your back or whatever, and that's a lot of good information. If I have problems with these organs or these organs, it's because of these issues in my life, and that's a really good generality. Is that the right word?
Can be, if that's the one you wanted.
That's a really good generality. Okay, but what I found is that anything can cause anything with energy healing, and the benefit that I see to doing it through intuitive ways is what I do is I'm not asking what I think and what I know is wrong with Kris's shoulder on her right side here. What I'll be asking the questions is I'll ask of her subconscious, because her subconscious knows everything. When people come to me and say, why does my shoulder hurt? I always tell them the same thing. I have no clue. Why does this? I have no clue. Because you have all your answers inside of you. All right, your answers are inside of you. Your subconscious knows exactly the contributing factors and how many of them there are to cause this problem that you're having in your life, be it emotional or physical imbalance. But there are imbalances. If we can remove those, the body will heal itself. That's what it's meant to do. That's what it's made to do. As Kris mentioned, I do several different modalities. One of them is quantum touch, where it's similar to Reiki, where I pull energy from the earth and from the environment, and I direct that to her shoulder. In fact, last night we were sitting on the couch and she says, oh, my shoulder's just really, really hurting me. Will you please start sending me some energy? And so I did that while we was watching a movie. In about 30 seconds, she doesn't snore, but there was a noise in the house that I hadn't heard before.
I don't snore. It was him making the noise.
It was a really cute sound. It was... No, there wasn't like that. It was much more gentle.
You can't even mimic it. There's no way.
It was cuter than that.
If it was me making a noise. None of your noises sound like mine.
It sounded like a sleeping puppy. Okay.
A puppy. Okay.
No.
Maybe you should move it along.
Maybe we should cut that part out.
No.
But, she literally, it relaxed her and she just went right off to sleep and the pain went away. But that is not, that's like if you have a flat tire on your car, that's pumping up, driving by the gas station and get some air and pop it up to where it feels good, okay? But it doesn't take care of the leaks. What I want to do is find out where that air is escaping from your so-called tire, why this shoulder is hurting her in the first place. And so that's what we're going to work on. So again, I like to work on the underlying causes and let the body heal itself rather than just give you a temporary feel-good that's going to last a week, 2 weeks, or whatever. I want to do something so the body can then maintain itself. And we're going to work on her shoulder. Now, she has had issues with both of her shoulders, and she had the other one operated on a couple of years ago. And she's just been maintaining and getting by with this right shoulder. However, there's a special reason that this is giving her a lot of grief.
Sure.
Would you like to share with them why we're now doing this?
You're going to make me tattle on myself?
Yes, I am.
Oh. Well, with family get-togethers and family festivities, we get together and have dinner together with our adult children. And we were cleaning up the mess. And somebody started it. I didn't start it.
No, she never starts it.
Okay, so sometimes I'm the instigator most of the time.
She always finishes it though.
But I don't like to lose, so a dish towel fight started. And I'm washing dishes and it started and I couldn't resist. So I immediately, did the ka-ching. And as soon as I did it, I felt this problem I've got in my shoulder. I've got a bone spur and some different problems, some arthritis and stuff in my shoulder. We've known that for a long time. But there definitely was a tear or something that I totally lost the use of my shoulder. It just went limp and it's been very painful since. So don't dish towel fight with your grown boys.
Yeah, especially if you're already having shoulder issues. Now,
I tried using the left arm, but it didn't work as well.
Yeah. With energy healing, now we may get in here and find a few things and correct these imbalances. And because of the damage to her shoulder, they've x-rayed it, said the cartilage and stuff is all gone in there. I could never promise what to expect. What I do expect from this, I'm totally open to a total miracle to where you absolutely are perfect and awesome. More likely what's going to happen is we're going to make it more livable for her to where she can live with it and doesn't have to go in and get that operation where, you know, she's a long time
Which is what we've really been
healing
doing
up.
for the last 3.5 years. Because
Yeah.
when I did the surgery on my other shoulder, at that time they told me my right shoulder was worse than my left. And to me, I couldn't use the left, so I said, do my left shoulder. But so for 3.5 years, I've known how bad the right is, and we've been able to maintain. So
So, and that's what we'd like to do because the operation is not that great anyway.
that's right.
So if we can get her to maintain, that's great. If the body will heal and regenerate, we're open to that too. But
Has nothing to do with my age.
we're going to take care
Because
of
I
these
did
underlying
not
things.
start in the 70s.
So let's go ahead and get started with that. We'll talk a little bit first about the emotion code and the body code. Give me just a minute to reset the screen here because we are going to be showing you flash up of the computer screen also. Now we're ready to go. We've got room to put the video screen here in the middle, but first I want to talk to you a little bit about how I get the answers intuitively. Right now the answers mostly come to me as soon as I pose the question in my mind, but when I was first learning, I learned through muscle testing, and I use that as a backup when I'm in a little bit more when I'm not on a one-on-one situation like this. On the video, there's like lots of people watching, and I could get nervous, and so I use muscle testing as a backup. But I want to show you.
Nervous.
I know, but I want to show you how muscle testing works at the very basic, and this is when the practitioner tests the client. That, as I said before, she has all her answers inside her. Her subconscious knows, and it will give me yes and no answers, true and false answers. And so if I ask her, I can tell true or false on a statement. So right now, hold your arm up, and I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on this because remember, we're working on this shoulder
This is my bad
is
one.
hard. And so that's the reason why I do self-testing when I work with a client. But if I asked her to just hold up, and I just put a little bit of resistance there, and I say resist, that's good. Now say, my name is Kris.
My name is Kris.
Her name is actually Kris, so go ahead and resist. And her arm is nice and strong. Now say, my name is Susie Q.
My name is Lisa. I'm resisting. Apparently I got you off guard. Somebody had a girlfriend named Lisa. There used to be a song, I'm not Lisa, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to catch you so off guard.
That's funny. That's funny. So all you Lisas out there.
My name is Lisa.
So say your name is Lisa. Now resist. And her arm is just, it's soft there. It's
Sorry.
probably because she's laughing, but I'm not going to push anyway. That's how a no goes down. And when I muscle test, I hold my finger up like this and I go, that's kind of works like the arm. And I push down with the little finger here. So a yes is good and solid, a no is hard. And so you'll see me doing this with my hands. And that's how I'm getting the answers. It goes much faster and her arm doesn't get... We're trying to make it better, not worse, and me cranking on it is going to make it worse. So that's how we get the answers, the yes or no answers, and you'll see how that works. Let's go ahead and start. So you're having problems with your right shoulders, and again, I told you that most of the times I find that the underlying causes that I find most often is through emotion code and body code. Probably about 70% of the time that's the work that I do. However, there's other things. I go through some really deep forgiveness work as far as healing old memories. I have other techniques that I found very effective to do that, but this is better for these demonstration purposes for you to see on screen. So I will just ask, are there any underlying imbalances why her shoulder has a problem? Now I know that the doctors have told us the cartilage is torn and all that, but there's some things going on. You may be surprised what you find can be underlying causes for this. So underlying causes, and we're going to start with trapped emotions. So I'm going to pull up the little screen here. Now you'll see it on the screen there. So do we have trapped emotions in this shoulder? It's probably about Lisa and jealousies. I don't know, but we'll see. And this, as you can see, it's in two columns, column A, column B, and then rows 1 through 6. So it's in column A. The first emotion is in column A, It's in an even numbered row, so it's row 2. It's in row 4 down here. And then we go, is it the first, is it emotion number 1, 2, 3, or 4? And 4 is hatred. So, this is a good one.
I
Boy,
have
does
hatred.
you know what? And she doesn't carry hatred now, but at different times in our life when we've had carried hatred for people, it can show up. So do we need more information about that? Sometimes her body just says, nah, let go of it, get rid of it. Now it wants to bring her junk right up and share it with everyone, because that's what we do. That's how we roll.
I get to be the guinea pig again.
Is this 14 years old? Hatred. What do you think that's about? Is it about that? Okay, it's about that group of guys that attacked you in the park. It was basically, had not another car come along, it could have been a rape, really, couldn't it?
It could have been, yeah. I was attacked by 4 guys.
Okay. And we've actually done quite a bit of work on that, but this is an emotion that's come up about that. So again, we hold the intention to release that. Now that emotion is up, we can just get rid of it, clear it, and go ahead. So,
explain what you're doing there.
I'm just running the magnet down the governing meridian down the back of her head, the meridians, and this will pass energy throughout her whole body. We could do it without the magnet. This is just a magnet. It looks cool, but any magnet would do. And once we've got that up, that lets that pattern goes ahead and breaks up the energy, because all of these imbalances that we're going to find are just energies. And what we want to do is break them up and release them from the body. So let's just do a couple more, and then we'll get into the body code thing. But for right now, we're going to stick with the emotion code. Column B, odd numbered row, row 5, emotion number 1, 2, 3. B, 5, and 3 is over here, an emotion of terror. 17, 18. 18 years old terror, that's when she met me.
Yeah, that must have been it.
That would have been tipping you upside down on the dance floor.
Now that one could be it.
Okay, terror. Did it have to do with? What do you think the terror was about? Right at 18 years old, there was a guy following you in your car. Remember that story? This doesn't appear to be it. I'm testing.
No, that was
That's
college.
no. So, 18 years old terror was about the flood. It was about the flood. So, let's go ahead. You can tell them while I'm releasing that. Are you ready to release that?
Yeah, I am.
So
right after we got married, I turned 19 on our honeymoon, actually. So right at the age of 18, we came home from our honeymoon, and a week later, the floods of 1984 came through and washed out your shop, and my Trans Am car was covered in water, and it was a really bad time. So it was really scary.
yeah, there was times where, we was working in deep, deep flood waters. It was going through my parents' home, which is where I had my shop. And anyway, that's kind of the backstory behind that. However, if we was just working with her, we wouldn't need that story. All I need to know was it was about a flood, and I just happened to come up with it before she did. And that's what that was about. So one more trapped emotion with that shoulder, okay. With the right shoulder, and this is column B again. Even numbered row, row 6, emotion number 1, 2, 3. B, 6, and 3 is shock. Is that the correct emotion? It's an emotion of shock. Do we need more information about this? This is one where her body says, no, I just want to get rid of it. We don't even have to go back with
Good.
Why don't you just tell them a nice, interesting story where you were shocked?
Maybe that was when I was
stuck your tongue in the light socket? No.
That's
kind of
your
shock.
kind of fun.
That's my kind of shock, yeah. Okay, so again, sometimes the body just doesn't need to, the subconscious will say no, get rid of it. Other times, like you've seen before, so you've seen a little bit of examples, how fast we can go back in, find out exactly what that is. The subconscious knows. And these things, these emotions have landed in this shoulder. And we want to clear them out. Because the body will maintain itself. It has a very high vibration rate that the muscles, the tendons, the bones, everything in this shoulder, the nerves, the blood vessels, has its own unique frequency that it operates at. When you have these trapped emotions, it brings that frequency down, and then that pulls that down, and now once the body doesn't maintain itself like it's supposed to. By the way, we was going to do some testing here, and you'll just have to trust that we're not faking it or whatever. What's your range of motion, or what's your pain at the shoulder right now? We should have done that before we did the trapped emotions, but that's
Well,
okay.
before we started, I think it was probably about an 8 or a 9.
Okay.
When before we started, when I was holding it up for you to push it down, and I do believe it's come down some from that.
Okay. So how is that like? Is that kind of you feel a range of motion where you raise
Yeah,
it?
right here hurts really bad. It
Okay,
starts to hurt
so-
really bad about right there when I start to try to raise it up.
So if you're a skeptic, you're going to go, oh great, they're husband and wife. She's going to say whatever to make him look good. Hey, I look good all by myself. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you look good all by yourself, honey.
We do several events throughout. Well, gosh, we've done them in Utah, Idaho, and Nevada, and we're open to do them in more places. But we call it an evening of healing, where we go and I spend a few minutes explaining energy healing and a little bit about vibrational frequency and underlying causes, and then I spend the balance of the evening bringing people up out of the audience. And we've got several videos with people that are just totally live. They're not, not strangers to me. I just met them, said hi as they walked in the
But
door.
they are strangers to him when he said they're not.
And I'm really stranger to them. I'm stranger the most. But so the skeptic would say, "Oh, this is a setup," and whatever. But we do this all the time in live events with people that are not set up in advance, and we didn't plan anything in advance other than we talked about that her shoulder would be a good demonstration purpose. So take it for what it is.
So yeah, there's some relief.
There's some relief there. Okay. So now we are going to go with the body code, and as you see the screen here, I'm looking down at my laptop on the table. On this screen here, there's 6 different areas that can create imbalances, and there's other things that other modalities will pop up, but most of the time this will cover and get us at least a long ways down that trail. And then once intuitively something else will pop up and we'll say, well, use quantum touch or use some color therapy or something else in there, and we'll use that EFT, healing codes, just any other modality that may pop up. But right now, I will ask underlying causes for this imbalance with your shoulder. And the first thing it says is an energy. And it's a mental energy.
Oh.
Okay, so we went down there, we chose mental, so there's some mental problems here. I don't
Yeah, we knew he would go there, right?
I don't do that to my clients. I'm a lot more tactful. So is it on the? It's on the left side of the screen there, and so it's a will to die energy. And do we need to know what that was? So she could have several of those in there. Would you tell them why you might have a little bit of your story? How many years did you spend?
Well, I had my twin brother committed suicide, and that was a really hard time for me. I went through a very deep depression after that, and really had no will to live at all. So,
Right. But you even had times where you struggled, after the babies a little bit with, can I say the H word, the hysterectomy?
yeah.
Okay. There's other times, and there's times where you can just have that feeling for a couple of hours, but yet it can just lodge and get stuck in your system somewhere.
And it could be longer than a couple hours.
And it could be something that went on for months or even years at times. But you can lodge this in at several different times. Just because we clear that one time, it doesn't mean it won't show up again. That same one won't, but there are other instances
Yeah, it could be other
that have
times.
to do with that. So we go back to the beginning again. Is there another underlying imbalance why she's having this problem with her shoulder? And it takes me into circuits and systems. So I click over here on circuits and systems, and then we've got some other things here. So is it an acupuncture system? It's actually in systems. So we go down here to the bottom left, click on systems, and then we've got a whole bunch of other choices. That's why I love what Dr. Bradley Nelson has put together, because with all of his experience, he actually mind mapped this out of all the things besides just trapped emotions that can cause imbalances. And I just think he was, I really believe he was inspired by divine to put this together, because it's just been so helpful.
Right.
And so here I have, 12 different areas that we could go into. So it's on the left side of this again, it's muscular system, so something in the muscles in her shoulders. Now this actually does not surprise me, because we know that the breakdown of the cartilage is there, but if the muscles are in shape, they can help support this if the muscles are doing their job, and it won't put as much load on the bone.
Well, and obviously, dish towel war was a muscular thing at the end.
And a mental thing.
No. Mental was if I lost without playing.
All right, very good. So you let me know when you think, I know we need to make this video about 30 minutes for purposes. So Kris, you do the math while I'm thinking here.
Keep going.
Okay.
You got about 5
And
minutes.
it's the upper limb muscles, which that would make sense. Okay. And it's the shoulder muscles.
That makes sense too.
That makes sense too. Although sometimes you'll find a muscle somewhere else in the body that the subconscious will say that's having a problem, and you'd be surprised how many times it makes a big difference when logically it doesn't make sense. So we go to shoulder muscles here. Do we need to know exactly which muscle? No. So there's some muscle in the shoulder. So now I know what to ask about. So now I'm not asking specifically, I'm asking more specifically about the muscles in the shoulder. What's the imbalance with them? So I just start over again. What is that imbalance with the muscles in the shoulder? And it's an energy. And is this, it's an offensive energy. And is it, it's cording actually.
Wow.
And cording is when you're energetically, there's an energetic connection between two people. I'll explain a little bit about that. Just, you know, mother's intuition, why you can't ever pull anything over on mom because she knows. And there's just that intuition, that's a cording that's there, and that's a good one. But there are other ones that are like a parasitic drain of energy when we cord to people. Do we need to know who you're recorded to? Sometimes the subconscious will say, hey, we need to know when it happened and who the person was. Right now it says no, but somebody or somehow there's been a connection, and it's an energy drain off of here that she's corded to somebody. And now with the intention to sever that cord from that shoulder, we just release that. Okay, now that's with the muscles. We're specifically working on the muscles now because that's where her subconscious led us. So we stay on the muscles until it says go back to general. Then it may lead me to a bone or cartilage or whatever, or nerves. Is there any more we need to do with the muscles? Yes, there is. And we go back and we've got another energy. And this is post-traumatic energy. And it's actually inflammation energy, as you see over here. Now, when you're very inflamed, her shoulder is probably slightly inflamed now, but this energy here is something that when it's been very inflamed and then the inflammation goes away, some of that energy just stays stuck in the body, and it will really be a detriment to causing healing to take place. So we just go ahead and release that. Again, this goes very fast, especially if I'm not explaining the whole thing. It goes about twice as fast in just a regular session. And just for the fun of it, where's your pain? Check in with your pain level now.
It's probably about 3.
It is down?
Yeah.
What about your, it doesn't seem like you can move your arm up any further though. Don't hurt yourself.
No, it moves up. It moves up to there better.
Does it? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, when I was doing this, it
Okay.
has much more flexibility
So,
in there.
Let's do, we got time to do a couple more or what?
If we're quick.
If we're quick. Let's do one more anyway and we'll see. And so we're working on the muscles and it's a misalignment. So again, it could be anything that's misaligned in there. Is it connective tissue? Is it the system? Is it the actual muscles that's misaligned? No, it's connective tissue that's misaligned. Okay, so then there's 4 different types of connective tissue. And it's actually tendons that are misaligned.
Makes sense.
Yep, tendons are misaligned. And is there an underlying reason that we have not already connected why that's misaligned? Because they wouldn't have come out of alignment if everything was okay. So generally something knocked them out of alignment, but we've done several things and we're okay to go ahead and align them. Now aligning, when we do with skeletal and stuff and organs and things, it can actually be where it's not lined up like this. But also you have an energetic alignment where you're timed in phase. And when you're timed like this, everything's great. But if it gets out of phase a little bit, then you're out of alignment like that. And we want to just set the energy to align that up like that. So we just hold the intention to align it. Or your intention is so powerful. Be careful what you think about and the things you say, what you wish for, because you are very, very powerful. And we just hold the intention, both of us, for that to to align those muscles. Great. Do we need to do anything more with those muscles? That's what it's telling there. So is that a pretty good, it shows you some of the underlying things
Right. Yeah.
that can go on. Obviously, there's more work to be done here.
Well, I think it's even less than 3. So,
Okay.
which is awesome because it's always at 8 to 10 recently. So that's really good to have it down that far.
Yeah, and it's like the cobbler's kids never get shoes, and we are going so hard all the time that
We don't take
yeah,
time.
I don't do much. Sometimes I don't work on myself or on her as much as you'd think we should, and so we haven't
Yes,
done
this is really
anything
good.
about this
This
since
is
you
really good.
since you had your towel flipping contest.
I was playing with my boys. Hey.
It's worth it, right? Yeah, supper. So,
And I am the queen of the towel contest. So.
all right, very good. I'm going to go ahead and stop this now. Very good. So, what should we talk about next? Anyway, that's the underlying causes and how what you normally think, you'd have no idea. It's her subconscious mind is the one that has the answers. And it could have told me, hey, there's a forgiveness issue, and we can track that back down and find out a lot of times it's something you wouldn't even think of. It can be something very insignificant, what seems like to us mentally, but it can affect a big thing physically.
Right.
And something she hadn't thought about for years.
And the good part about this is for you to get a chance to see it at work. And that's the best thing, is to see Bill at work and to see how he can follow it through. And Emotion Code and Body Code have been phenomenal additions to be certified in both of those, but it really gives you a chance. So because you stayed on this episode with us and saw that, you get to have a free opportunity to try them out for 20 minutes. You get an opportunity to get a free 20-minute
So
session.
should we make them send us a list of all the imbalances we found in order to qualify for that?
Yeah. Write down everything that's wrong with me.
Yeah, write down what Chris's junk are. Send us, if you'll post it on your Facebook page, everything that's wrong with Kris, then you can get...
Yeah, thanks. Everything's wrong with me on your Facebook page. I already get some of those.
No, obviously we're just having fun. This is something I offer to everyone, is a free 20-minute session. You can go to our webpage and click on it right here. It should be in here.
Oh, come on. It's going to be here to
Yeah,
here.
yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah,
Our
well,
website, www.allthingspossible.biz. Again, www.allthingspossible.biz.
you can click on that right now. I mean, like right while I'm talking, it will interrupt me and take you to our webpage. Okay.
Not that the rest of the stuff's not important, but you can click this. It will take you right to our website and go to the healing page, and right to the right side on that screen, you can enter your information and get your free 20-minute session. It will automatically send you an email for you to schedule that on our automatic scheduler and have it easy.
Yeah, you just go on there. I have my available times on there, and you pick one that works for you, and then we get on the phone and have a
Yeah, it
healing
will be a
session.
phone session.
These sessions are just as effective distance at any distance as well as in person. So, but the 20-minute sessions are on the phone, and I invite you to do that to see what it's like to work with me. Now, I hope that you've had fun with us today here. We've had a lot of fun. My regular rate for healing is $150 an hour, okay? And that's a good and fair price. However, because you are on here today with us, I will offer you a special benefit. If you'll mention that as you call to schedule with me, I'll do a 1-hour session for $120, and that's a $30 savings. But if you know you've got some junk,
Hey,
you know you got some work you want to do, or even if you want to, share some of the time with someone in your family, I will go even better than that. And if you commit to a 5-hour package, we'll do that for $497. That's basically a $250 savings off of my normal rate, and off the $120 an hour, that's like getting an extra hour for free.
well,
So-
and we haven't had a client yet that hasn't been able to use all 5 hours. We have a lot of clients that we've worked with that do a combination package with both of us, and that package does come with a 5-hour healing session, and it's been phenomenal, the things that you've been able to do through that, whether it's the abundance or the generational
Wow.
healing or the soul retrieval and just the regular emotional healing and the pain, addiction. There's so many things that you can do with that really jump on, get the 5-hour package for $4.97 and take advantage of that. Get 5 hours of healing.
Oh, I love to end with those packages, unless somebody's really working on a lot of physical issues or emotional issues, is when we get towards the end of that package, spend the last time working on prosperity and abundance, because there's a lot of underlying programs that work counterintuitive. They are sabotage programs that work against us in the subconscious mind. You can read all the good books and do your declarations, say your statements, positive thinking. But when things are buried very, very deep in the subconscious mind, a lot of times it's hard to get in and reprogram that, because it got programmed in there when we were very young. And intuitively, I know what programs to ask for specifically. I've run into several things, and then other things will come up intuitively. But we can find those and really unblock your prosperity and abundance. So turn on the money tap.
That's right.
So.
And be healed of the pain that you're going through, whether that's depression, anxiety. We've had a ton of anxiety appointments lately. Anxiety's high. We have a lot of stress in our world, and there are ways for you to learn tips and tools from Bill and also be healed of that and not have to deal with that on a daily basis.
So, hey, I'm done talking.
It's been great to be here with you. So happy to share my junk.
And I'm happy to share her junk too.
Thanks for being here. And hey, it's allthingspossible.biz. And jump on and get your session from Bill and get a package from Bill on your healing.
Yeah, so click on that link and we'll see you.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.